All right, well, hello everybody. Hello again. Welcome. We'll go ahead and get started. Welcome to SCSU's broadcast student panel. My name is Hannah Michaels and I am an associate director here in the admissions office at St. Cloud State University. Obviously, we're in interesting times right now with COVID-19, social distancing, and the remote work that we are doing. And while we are very much looking forward to when we can be on campus and inviting you there to tour the facilities, we are overjoyed in the meantime to be able to offer this virtual opportunity for you to learn more about the program. Today you will get to hear from Dale Zocker, who is the department chair for mass communications. And then of course you will get to hear straight from the mass communication students themselves. After the student panel, the students will be providing you with some virtual tour opportunities. And then after the event concludes, we will be sure to follow up via email with some additional links and information for you. With that, I will turn it over to Dale Zocker. Thank you, Dale.
All right, am I on?
You are on, Dale. I can hear you. Yep.
Can you see me? I don't know. I'm working on a Chromebook here. I don't know if it's doing all of my proper things to look at.
Good, Dale.
Okay, thank you. I also want to welcome you to the Department of Mass Communications virtually. We would definitely prefer to have you in person. I think when students come and see our facilities, they talk to our students, the experience that we have at St. Cloud State just sells itself. If you've toured, if you've looked at other places around the region, if you're interested in studying anything in radio or television, any kind of production in multimedia, I don't think you're going to be able to find facilities that even compare to ours. It's a commitment the university made for many decades, but in the last 5 years, the big commitment that was made was to spend upwards of now $6 million to make sure that our facilities, both for radio and television, are up to speed on all of the new digital technologies that really are driving the media landscape, have been for the last 10, 15 years. Many universities couldn't afford it, didn't decide to do that, but we have done that at St. Cloud State, and that's why we are really the premier place to study broadcasting, both radio and television, in all kinds of different places and all kinds of different formats. If you're interested in doing live events, live radio, live television, live sports, that's really what we specialize in. That's what we do best. It's something, again, very, very unique. I'm originally from North Dakota. I'm from this region, but I've taught at 5 other universities, and many of them were much bigger than St. Cloud State. And before, when I was there, and after, the last 5 years or so, they still cannot match the facilities that we have here. It's just something that we do, and the employers in the region know it. Our students have really very little problems getting jobs because they're in demand. The well-rounded education that we can give you here is really important. Let me talk a little bit about that. As I think you're going to find out from some of the students that you'll get to talk to today, some of our student leaders, we have an opportunity to work at radio, television, working at the University Chronicle newspaper. You can do all kinds of different experiences, whether you have classes in those areas or not. These media outlets, if you will, these community media outlets that we have on campus are run by student organizations, and they're open to any student to join. And that means that you don't have to worry about, well, I can't do this until I'm a senior after I've had this class or that class, then they'll let me touch the equipment. That's not what we do at St. Cloud State. We let students run the facilities. In many cases, they are the producers. They are coordinating the programming, doing the programming, deciding what the programming should be in many cases, and that's very unique. Other places where I've taught, typically, honestly, the faculty and the staff didn't trust the students. We found at St. Cloud State that if you give students responsibility, they will act responsibly. And so we've never had any problem with good quality media run by students. That's really what we have made our reputation on and will continue to make our reputation on. So even though we have a virtual experience today, it's not the same as allowing you to come in and seeing the facilities, and be able to touch them firsthand. You will get a chance to look at them. And frankly, I think the most important part of when we've done events like this to bring in new students, the most important part is getting an opportunity to talk to our current students. So we have been able to replicate that today with this Zoom meeting. And I think really that is the most important thing. I want our student leaders that you're going to meet today, let them tell you about what our program is like. I think that's going to be much more something that you can relate to. And we always appreciate their honest feedback. And I just want to, again, welcome you. And if you have any questions after this, you can certainly send me an email. You can find my name on either LinkedIn, or you can go to the department website at St. Cloud State's website. Just shoot me an email and I'd be happy to answer any questions if something comes up after today's little virtual session. So I think I have to send it back over to Joe McMullen, who's going to take over from now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Hi,
Okay.
Dale.
Hey.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. I am the manager of the campus radio station KVSC 88.1 FM, where we broadcast 365, 7 days a week. We are a station that has student leaders involved and are very active. So I'm excited to tell our story. Everything you hear on KVSC is also streamed live on the internet. And sometimes, actually many shows are simulcast with UTVS television, our media partners. And down the hall, 50 feet from us is the campus newspaper. So there's a lot of collaboration nearby. So we want to get to our panelists right away. So we selected some of our student leaders who are also doing distant learning, just like you might be doing at your high school right now. And so I'm going to ask all of them questions, and I'll kind of announce who I'm talking to because of this platform of Zoom. And we'll just kind of have some fun and get to know what it's like to be a St. Cloud State MassComm student leader. And I'll start with Paige Yeager. I'm going to ask you all the same question. We'll go through it. Hi, Paige. This one's actually a 3-point question, which is,
oh no,
but it's easy one. It's not a hard one.
Okay.
Where did you go to high school?
Mm-hmm.
What year are you in school at the university at St. Cloud State? And how did you find out about MassComm at St. Cloud State?
Oh, that's not too bad. I went to Wayzata High School. It's in Plymouth. One of the biggest high schools in Minnesota. Had a small little TV class I took freshman year of high school. Really liked it. It's nowhere near St. Cloud, but it had cameras and you could switch inputs and whatnot. So that sparked my interest in TV. I did some research. I think my sophomore year of high school, I was like, I could do this. This is fun. Came across St. Cloud, looked at it online, and basically was sold since I was 15. Yeah, best decision ever. Did I answer everything?
Yeah, and I want to come back. We're going to learn about all the things that you're doing as one of our stars. So excellent.
Okay,
Thank
sounds
you.
good. Thanks, Joe.
Yep. All right, we're going to head over to Sam Getzinger. And Sam, same questions. And you should probably answer where you are right now today because you are also broadcasting live from your parents' home. So where'd you go to high school? What year are you currently at St. Cloud State? And how'd you find out about MassComm?
Okay, so I went to high school in New Prague, Minnesota, which is down south, about 2 hours south of St. Cloud. I found out about St. Cloud. I was a junior. It was my summer before senior year of high school, and I wasn't quite sure where I wanted to go. I have a background in broadcasting through my family, and they're affiliate with the Minnesota Twins. So we went to a Twins game. I somehow was able to meet the head of broadcast operations, and I just wanted to pick his brain a little bit. I said, hey, where do you think's a good place to maybe attend college? First school he said was St. Cloud State. I didn't think much of the school before he said that. I didn't quite know where I wanted to go. Then about a week or two later, we decided to schedule a tour up here, and within the first 20 minutes of looking around the facilities, which I believe you guys will be able to do so today, I was sold. There was nowhere else I wanted to go. I maybe toured one other school, Wisconsin, just because I was a big Badger fan growing up, but even then they didn't have anything of the sort. So this is probably one of the best bang for your bucks in the country, in my opinion, and I'm really happy with the decision I made to come here. And I'm just a sophomore. I forgot to mention that.
Cool. And I'll say this, the person who does the play-by-play on most of the TV games, Dick Bramer, is a KVSC grad. He went to school at St. Cloud State University, a proud alumni, and many people work in the operational side of the Twins and the relationships we have with FSN. You're gonna hear about that a little bit later too. All right, so we're gonna head on over next on deck to ask the same question would be Sydney Wolf. Sydney, tell me, where'd you go to high school? What year are you in school? And how did you find out about Mass Comm at St. Cloud State?
Okay, so I am a junior right now. I graduated from St. Cloud Cathedral, so I'm from the area. So I've been here pretty much all my life, but my parents were alumni, but I was planning on coming here, but I actually wasn't planning on being in mass communications my senior year. I actually was planning on being a music ed major, but then my senior year, I actually volunteered at KVSC to be a DJ when I was still in high school. And a lot of the people that were currently working there were telling me that I should come here and I should come be at KVSC. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to do it. And then when I got here my freshman year, I went to the general meeting for UTVS, and then I kind of just got hooked on everything and was like, you know what, I think mass comm might be for me. So that's how I got sort of wrapped up in everything.
Excellent, thank you. Yeah, you were a PSEO student, so we kind of kept that quiet for a while because that's all right. That's good. We're going to head up to Noah. And Noah, I'm not sure if you're home, but I believe you're in NODAC.
Yes.
So tell us about where you went to school in North Dakota,
Sure.
and how did you find out about Mass Comm program, and what year are you in school?
Sure. So I'm actually from East Grand Forks, Minnesota. So on the Minnesota side of the Red River of the North. Yeah, so my background's actually theater background. I actually grew up doing lots and lots of theater, but somewhere around late middle school, early high school, I got really interested in the technology that kind of made shows happen. And, I partially credit the Today Show for my interest in television. I don't know why, but that's something I woke up to every day. And I always got excited when they did those like behind the scenes shots, as bump shots at the time. But anyway, so that kind of sparked my interest. And, I got a postcard in the mail and it said, be the broadcaster at St. Cloud State. And I was like, oh, cool. I can get out of school for a day. So I went to Be the Broadcaster event at St. Cloud State. I think this was in 2015. So this is a while ago now. But I took one step into the TV facility, or just the mass comm facilities as a whole. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is way more than I expected. That same year I toured one other college in Minnesota. I'm not going to say where it is, but that other college had basically just a classroom with a desk and a camera, and that was it. So for me, walking into this after seeing that was like, oh my gosh, so that got me excited. And I think Dale had mentioned this earlier, like this is by far one of the best places if you want to get your hands dirty on all the equipment that makes like a Division I level broadcast will say happen. This is my 4th year here at St. Cloud State. I've enjoyed every second of it. I currently serve as the programming director for another 2 weeks over at the University Television Station. So.
All right,
Yeah.
Thank you, Noah. And we'll hop to Joe Bigelow. And I know, because he's kind of interesting, because he kind of came into being involved with the radio station more from a music side of things. So Joe, tell us just a little bit about how you got involved, where you went to high school, and how did you find about Mass Comm, and why you are now kind of this double major person?
Well, okay, hopefully you can hear me, correct? Good. It's not because my phone's being weird. So I went to Sauk Rapids Rice High School, so I'm local, and originally I started out as a music major. Like, I wanted to do music education. I wasn't a big fan of it, but I got a music composition degree, and then it was getting towards the end of that, and I was like, I need something. My dad kept pressuring me into doing a business minor, and I wasn't a big fan of that, but I heard all about like KVSC and everything from years past, and I was just like, mass communication sounds really cool, because I never really participated in anything like UTVS or KVSC or anything radio or anything like that throughout before college. But then I came in, I was able to use my music expertise for reviewing. I'm doing a lot of stuff with them, and it's just, I feel like I've gone more of a way that is something I want to do instead of just music. I put my talent somewhere where I feel like I'm failing music. It's just, I want to do stuff with sound. That's pretty much it.
All right, thank you, Joe. And he's a very creative person and does a lot of our production pieces that are, catch people's ear. I want to go back to Paige now. And would you share with students who are, listening in or will watch this, how important, some advice about getting involved in student media when they get to college?
I think get involved in any major, any school that you do, obviously, but I think with something like mass comm, it's so hands-on, and not a lot of programs, they thrive off that, peer-to-peer interaction, making sure that we're all in this together more than mass comm. My specialty is TV sports production. Eventually I'd like to work on a production truck working for professional teams, and that's all team-based. And it's all hands-on as well. If anyone listening is interested in sports, and you're involved in the technical or the on-air side, Husky Productions is the greatest thing that's ever walked into my life. And that stuff, our program is great, but that's kind of stuff you can't learn in classes, because you're only set to a certain amount of credit hours in sitting in class and learning and taking notes. But you apply what you are writing down into getting involved and getting hands-on experience. Our campus TV station, oh gosh, we're there all the hours of the day. We're there when we're not in class because we want to get better and we want to learn. And at St. Cloud, it's amazing that we're able to do that. I think we're open 9 to 9, 8 to 9, something like that. I don't remember the hours, but we had people in there all hours of the day, and those were the people that really took advantage of everything. And it's awesome. Just get involved. And
I know you a bit that you are also a competitive person as a hockey player. So it makes sense that you took that competitive spirit in high school hockey to take it to college.
Yeah. And sports.
And sports in particular. All right. Same question for you, Sam. Can you share some advice for students about once they get here, getting involved in student media?
Yeah, I took the getting involved portion of the mass comm department really, really seriously. I started getting involved before I even went to St. Cloud. The first thing I did was after I graduated from high school, I spent that summer going to KVSC and training, and that's one of the best things. It's free training all around. We'll train anybody. One of our DJs who's on now has been with the station for over 10 years. Started when he was 14. So we do that kind of thing. It's good. We like to get the community involved. So I started training after my senior year of high school, and then I was on air for a portion about a month, and then I came to St. Cloud State, and then from there I started doing some more music shows. I had the passion of doing sports as well, like Paige, but besides Paige, I wanted to be on air. And then after being involved for a little while, just kind of hanging my head around, I kind of graduated up to a assistant program director role, and I am now the program director at the radio station KVSC. So that's one of my titles there. I also do a lot of sports. Was able to do a lot of hockey games for the local high school teams in the area, both girls and boys. Did some football games, and then we also did some softball, some baseball, a lot of basketball. We were able to travel around all over the place. So even though I was in the program department in the radio side, I was able to dip my toes into some other things like sports. I've done some news writing. I've done some marketing, going out and talking to the public, and also done some production work, voiceover work and stuff like that. But it's not just radio I wanted to get involved with. I also wanted to make a point to get involved with TV pretty quickly, and I did that with my first semester. I am now a producer for one of our sports TV shows, Husky Mag, which has been pretty successful over the past couple of years. We're actually nominated for a college TV award that's in Los Angeles. We weren't fortunately unable to go to Los Angeles this year, but it's still a big deal to be nominated for that. Also a panelist, a host, and a crew member for Crunch Time, another sports show. Became a sports anchor for our live newscasts, which are a really fun experience. You spend the whole day just doing what you see on TV. You're pretty much mirroring that action, and it's a lot of fun. I also am involved with Husky Productions. I did a lot of audio mixing for them. That was my position this year. And outside of the TV world, I'm also the sports editor for the University Chronicle. So I wanted to make sure that I'm well versed in all three areas, and I think that's just one of the the really cool things that you can do at St. Cloud State. You can do it all, and nobody's going to question you. And like Paige said, we spend a lot of the time during the day either at the radio station, at the TV station, because over couple of days or whatever, all the people in the panel here, there's some of my best friends, and even the people that aren't on this panel, there's relationships that are going to be here for a really long time throughout your life, and that's one of the really cool things. So we spend a lot of time together, and that's one of the beautiful things about St. Cloud State. So yeah, try to get involved as much as you can.
And I want to interrupt and say, Sam has also, since COVID-19, been broadcasting live. We call it the Southern Lair on the air, I dubbed it. And you're doing many shows a week live from New Prague.
Yeah, I have a little studio set up in my home office, just a little tiny setup. And then I've been doing some news and music shows, just trying to keep busy the best I can. So
yeah, doing a great job. All right, let's head over to Sid. And Sydney, can you tell us and give us some advice for the students about getting involved in student media when they're in college, and like how soon to get involved?
Yeah, so it's really easy, and we're all super friendly at St. Cloud State, especially because I might have a little bit different perspective because I got involved even before I came here with KVSC. So even if you want to get involved, sometime soon, although it might be different because of the situation we're in right now with COVID, but we train anybody. You don't just have to be like a student that goes here. So I got involved a little bit early at KVSC my senior year of high school. And then that summer, once I graduated, I applied to work at KVSC because I knew a lot about music. So I was like, you know what? I think I should apply to be assistant music director. So then I got that and I was super excited. So I worked doing I review music that goes on air and just a bunch of other stuff with music, which was really fun. And then eventually I am now a music director, which is really cool. I love it. It's so fun. I basically get paid to listen to music, which is so cool to me that that's even a thing that I get to do. And then my freshman year, I remember I was sort of interested in TV, but I was kind of intimidated because I didn't really know anyone that was going to be there. So I went to the general meeting, which for UTVS is our big meeting at the beginning of every semester. And it's really fun and we're all really friendly. So you can just go to that, and no matter what your interests are, news, sports, anything TV related, you can go to that and find out all the information you want. We give tours, all that sort of stuff. So I'm also the news director right now. When I graduate, I hope to be a news producer, hopefully somewhere in the Twin Cities. So getting involved in TV is also really easy. And then this year, actually, also, I got involved with the University Chronicle. So if you really like journalism or you want to be able to write about anything, whether it's news or sports, or since I love music, I write a lot of music reviews. That's also super fun. So getting involved is really easy, and it might seem a little intimidating or oh, that's a lot of work to do, because we do spend a lot of time in Stewart Hall where all the mass comm stuff is. But honestly, all the best times I've had in college have been at KVSC or at UTVS, where we all become really good friends and we're all super friendly. So I think it's really easy to get involved with whatever you really want to do.
And KVSC is your home to independent, alternative music, hip hop. Most college radio stations don't play commercial radio because they do it very well. They do, country and, commercial hit radio. So we have a lot of different types of music. And Sid even does a show called Crispy Critics that she reviews music and it becomes a podcast. It's a really cool thing. And also say thank you, Sid. And I know you also get to do some interviews with musicians, things like that. Yeah, very neat. All right, let's head over to Noah. Same question. Can you share some advice for students about getting involved once they get here, as you are getting ready to say goodbye soon?
I mean, it is kind of sad to say goodbye, because it has been a huge part of my life the last 4 years. But the cool thing about St. Cloud State, and specifically the mass communications department, is I found people just like me. When I was in high school, I was the only kid that was super interested in television. But I got here and I found people, just like me, doing setting up cameras, in front of Stewart Hall for I think it was the big student organization fair at the beginning of every year. And honestly, the best advice I can give on how to get involved is show up, ask questions. If you see someone in the hallway, standing outside the newsroom at UTVS, or you're running downstairs, and you pass KVSC, pop your head in these places and ask questions. I can guarantee, someone will greet you with a smiling face and be more than happy to show you around, and you know the rest kind of explodes from there, I guess. I think I remember my first time at UTVS. I think I was like asking about lights or something like that. And 4 years later, I've helped build a little production truck. I've helped with numerous projects around the facility. There's I don't know, that's biggest thing is show up. That's the best way to get involved. Show up and ask questions. I hope
Very
that
good.
answers that question.
It does. Yeah, and the production truck is that NOAA helped find the university a vehicle that has a satellite uplink on it, and he helped build that truck out. I mean, that's an incredible experience.
Yeah, I don't think I would have gotten that experience anywhere else. And the other, like, I know Paige also helped immensely on making every little connection inside of that vehicle to make it all HD equipment throughout. So it was a very cool experience, very hands-on. So
Okay, so now we have the challenge of the longer beard, Joe Bigelow. He's coming in. And Joe, real quick, can you talk about advice for people to get involved? And again, you said from a music major and composition to where you're at, but just what advice would you give?
I would give the advice of, if you don't be ashamed of being, someone who goes for more and more years. Like, when I'm done, I'm going to have 5.5 years in college here. And I'm not ashamed of that. I used to be so ashamed that by the time I hit year 4, I was like, I'm not done yet. But the thing is just as much as you can. I'm getting 2 majors, and I have more of a better outlook in terms of getting a career. I know it's career driven for what I want to do, my goal, but there's also experience. There's so much experience that I'm getting out of this situation that I'm applying from my other major to this, and it's like chocolate and peanut butter. It's like a Reese's peanut butter cup. It's really good.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you. Yeah, and you are getting a double major and a minor. So you are going to be entering that workforce just ready to rock and roll, and we're going to be behind you. And KVSC and UTVS, myself, I've been here a long time. I'm just finishing my 27th year as the manager. My colleague, Jim Gray, has been around and involved for over 20 years. And the TV station's Derek Silvestri. He's been at the university 15 years. We have lots of contacts in the business, and we try to help students find jobs. They come to us when they want to hire, and we work really hard to help you find those positions. Let's go back to Paige, and I'm gonna have you put on your creative hat a little bit. Can you think of a unique experience that you've enjoyed because of your involvement with UTVS and or KVSC? It could be a class project, or actually, I know your answer, something that you did this spring with women's basketball, something that you are so proud of that event, or something that you were part of, or just a funny story.
I guess I'll go off of what you were kind of starting there, Joe. My mission since I was probably 15 was to get more women in sports broadcasting, either on camera or behind the scenes. My thing was I was always one of only a few, or if anything, the only female on a lot of TV crews, specifically for sports. And it was something I was just used to, but it didn't have to be the normal. And I knew that at UTVS, we have a lot of women who love to do behind the scenes work, who like to go in front of the camera. We got it all. And I don't think the country, not the country, but a lot of the things I've seen in the real world replicated the diversity with women that we have here at St. Cloud. So I kind of took it upon myself with one other cool junior. Her name's Maya. She's awesome. We started a group chat one day. We went, hey, let's make the first ever full female sports broadcast in school history. That group chat started with 2 people, grew to 4, grew to 8, grew to 16. Oh, cool. Now we have 25 people who are free one of these days that can make this really cool broadcast. From idea to, I guess, production was 2 weeks. And in 2 weeks, we trained everybody on a new position. We got talent. That's people who are on air. People don't know TV terms. Situated. We talked with coaches. We did interviews. We got production guides down. Yeah, and it was all students. We didn't have one advisor to really hone in and tell us where to go, because we wanted it to be all us. We wanted it to be all students. And yeah, it was super exciting. I've never had an experience like that before, and hopefully, pending sports and things, that I can do it at least one more time before I graduate. So yeah, Sydney was on that crew. She was our play-by-play commentator, and she did a fantastic job. So yeah.
Yeah, that's an amazing accomplishment, an all-female crew in front and behind the scenes of other production. So we're all very proud of you, the Mass Comm department too.
It was really fun. Yeah. Hopefully we can do it again.
It reminds me of in 2012-13 hockey season, Gina Carlson, who works for Fox Sports North, she was the first college student that we know of in the country that called Division I men's hockey. She called the entire game, and she was color commentary year round.
Mhm.
So, and she's doing quite well. So it just reminds me of that experience too. So
Yeah, for sure.
excellent. Let's hop over to Sam. And Sam, a memory, an experience, something that was just a creative thing that you're proud of so far, and you're completing year 2.
Yeah, I have a couple, and I'll try to make it quick. Last year, as some of you may know, the Final Four for NCAA basketball was in Minneapolis, and Westwood won, which is a really big broadcast company throughout the country. They were looking for students to help with their. It was a broadcasting event. You know, when you have a big event for like a Super Bowl or for the Final Four, they bring in a lot of radio stations from all across the country. They go into I wouldn't say a warehouse, but it's more of like an expo, and then they set up and they do live remotes and they do interviews with athletes, and they wanted students to help out, kind of chauffeur the athletes, either former or current players in all sorts of sports, and famous people, just take them from station to station. So I volunteered to help out with that, and I wouldn't be able to do that unless I was a part of this Mass Comm department, because it went through Jim Gray, which is another one of the leaders for KVSC, who's not in this chat, but he went through him, volunteered through that, and I was able to meet some really, really important people: Tiki Barber, Bill Walton, just to name a few. It was really cool experience. Nate Robinson was there, and I just was able to show him around and meet all these other people from different radio stations too that have the interest in sports broadcasting, and that was a really fun day. Got to meet up with some people from the University of Minnesota and their Mass Comm department. We brought some people down, of course, but even this year, the women's basketball team for St. Cloud State was in the NSIC tournament, and that's over in Sioux Falls at the Pentagon, which is a really cool facility. It's a professional facility. A G League basketball team plays there, and they were able to win that whole tournament. So me and my buddy Joey Erickson, who's actually the training director at KVSC, is from Texas, so it was his first time going over to that part of the country. So we were able to spend 3 days up in a hotel. We had a water park to our ability. We went to a Top Golf all 3 days, and we got to just roam around Sioux Falls during the day. Then at night, go call basketball games. It was like a dream come true. And we actually had our bags packed. They won that tournament, so we had our bags packed to go to Missouri and go down and do the NCAA national tournament, and we were going to see if we can spend a couple of days down there, but of course that got shut down with COVID-19. And I mentioned earlier, we were nominated for a college television award, which is a really big deal for any program that is student run at a university. And we were going up against the likes of North Carolina and Miami and Florida, and that event's still going on. We were going to go to Los Angeles for that in a couple of months, but of course with the circumstances that got called off, so that'll be online. But still, just the thought of the possibility to go to Los Angeles with some of your friends and go to a award show is pretty cool. A lot of people in this panel, they go to Las Vegas almost every year for a big award show that we submit our content into. And then I can't speak a lot about it, but I know EAA radio is a really big deal. I haven't gone on it yet, but it is a really cool radio experience in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. It's an internship class, so you do get credit to go, and you're pretty much running a station in Oshkosh for I believe it is about a week, and it's all about airplanes and news and everything.
Yeah, it's during the world's second largest air show is in Oshkosh. So that'll happen. That happens in July and August. Yeah.
And you're out there in a tent and you're just doing radio. It sounds like a really cool experience that I hope to go on soon. But overall, it's been a really fun time at St. Cloud, and I can't imagine what's going to happen in the years to come. And just meeting all the people too is really fun as well.
All right, thank you, Sam. And I saw those expense reports. You ate lots of tacos when you're in Sioux Falls or something.
Yeah, we did.
All right, let's head over to Sydney Wolf. And Sid, same question for you. Can you think about something creative or an experience you've had so far that you're really proud of as a mass comm student?
So I guess this is sort of like a mini story that segues into a different story. But first off, trivia weekend every year is like super fun. It's like the highlight of my year. Every time when we know the dates for trivia, I like block off my weekend so that I can volunteer and like sleep on the couch a couple hours and then answer some more phones. It's like the most fun time. And you think answering phones wouldn't be very fun, but it's so fun. So trivia weekend this year, the day after was actually the day the press bar burnt down in St. Cloud, which was like a huge news event. And I remember waking up to like a million phone calls on my phone because I'm the news director, so I didn't even know what was happening. I woke up in the morning and I had a million like phone calls of people telling me like, oh my gosh, this happened, because we didn't have news that day because I think it was a holiday that Monday. So the next day, Tuesday, I went in for news because we have news Monday through Thursday normally, but we didn't because there was a holiday that Monday. So Tuesday we went in and we were all like, okay, we have a chance to really, we have a chance to cover this sort of really strange and sad event that happened of the press bar burning down. And it's literally like 3 blocks from campus, 4 blocks from campus. It's so close. So we were able to send one of our reporters out. He did a really awesome package on it, got some really cool footage, interviewed some people about it. And we were able to send him out to do a live shot as well, which is really cool. We take our production truck that we were talking about earlier, and we were able to do a live shot for news and just kind of like, it's like not bad stress, but good stress of trying to get everything together to work at the right moment is really fun. And it's kind of like almost a team sort of thing for news where you're trying to get everyone to coordinate at the same moments and try and get everything perfect because we were really hoping that this would be like our best show and hopefully we could submit it for awards. And everything was really tense because we wanted it to go really well, but everyone did such a good job. And it was really fun just seeing all the parts go together. Of course, it was still really unfortunate that the press burnt down, but it was really interesting and it was really cool to be able to cover that event and to be able to relay that information to the public and just put on such a great show. So that was a really sort of unique and weird day, but it ended up turning out really well for news. So that was definitely something special. And also the women's broadcast, like Paige said, was like a once in a lifetime thing. That was so cool also.
All right, thank you, Sydney. And you're right, when you're involved in the newsroom, you're actually doing, you're getting out to cover real stories, the campus stories of the community, and you're going to learn a lot because you are figuring out how to be a good reporter while being a reporter. Yeah. And so I just want to mention too, our trivia weekend, it's a 3-day contest that we do every February, 50 hours, live on radio, simulcast on UTVS, although they build up their own set, big fun theme. We have a phone bank with about 30 people in it and food every hour and a half to feed the volunteers. It's a really big fun event that we do for the radio station. It's our event and our partners are UTVS simulcasting it, as well as something called Monday Night Live, a live band on the air every, about 25 times a year, every Monday night live on radio and TV. So let's head on over to Noah with that same question. So a moment is maybe good for you being a senior that you're really proud of. I'm looking at the clock, so we have about 5 minutes. I'll have Noah to Joe, and then I have one final quick question for y'all.
Okay, I'll try and make this fast. Well, to narrow it down to one, that's actually really hard. Because I was just looking through a whole bunch of pictures, going through the last 4 years of being at St. Cloud State. My favorite moments are honestly like doing these live shots that Sydney was just talking about. I remember particularly one time when we had there's a Black Hawk helicopter that had crashed south of St. Cloud, and I remember being told, no, you should go up to the newsroom, and I'm like, oh, it's probably the printer or something like that. And I get up there and they're like, hey, are you able to drive the truck down to I'm blanking on the town right now.
I think it was Cold Spring area.
Yes. And I was like, oh my gosh, yes. And you just all of a sudden get this rush of like, oh my God, this is real news. Like, and I'm not saying everything else isn't. It's we do real news every day, but it's that in the moment that we have one professor that has always said news is always about being live, and I think that's absolutely true. I mean, being live and doing these live shots remotely from, a ditch on the side of a county highway, is honestly the best experience you're going to get. I remember seeing our news van or our live truck parked next to Care 11 and a couple of these other stations from the Twin Cities. It's like, oh my gosh, we're just like anyone else, And, I think, yeah, to answer that question, my favorite moments, I'll say plural, of media at St. Cloud State have been probably doing live shots and trivia weekend, of course.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. And you'll also say, roll the dovetail to Joe, that if you're in the TV production, TV news, you will, they call us for hires, and you might start in Duluth or Fargo or Iowa and Des Moines or Madison or smaller markets, but they come to St. Cloud State and they hire our grads, and many of them are on the air right now, and you watch the TV stations, and including Sven Sundgaard is a Care 11. He's their meteorologist, as well as many of the people on the stations come from St. Cloud State, of course. All right, Joe, where are you? Can you think of a creative moment that you'd like to share? And then we'll do one last final question for the group.
Trivia. Every time that we have trivia, I've done it for technically 3 times now, and it's always a time to flex your creative muscles and figure out, like, what can I do? How can I top these, like, pushes or ads that we put out before trivia? And it's just one of those things that taps into sort of the humor that I have and the knowledge that I know for different things. I'm just like, okay, what can we do? What can we do? That's my favorite thing about this.
Excellent. I agree with that. It brings out, Trivia Weekend does bring out the creative side of everyone. And I want to mention too, just on the meteorology side, that there's actually a meteorology program and broadcasts. They can get involved and be a broadcast meteorologist, as well as I think the only one in the state, or maybe there's 2 programs. My colleagues at admissions would tell us that, but it is a top-notch meteorology program, and you can also learn broadcast meteorology. Last question around the horn for everybody. How do you balance work, school, and jobs? And you have to keep your answer to like 30 seconds or a minute. I'm sorry, go ahead, Paige, yes.
Okay, I assumed I was next. The work job school balance, it's easy in mass comm because I think a lot of us, it's all in one. I'm the station manager at UTVS, so kind of overseeing the whole TV station per se from the student side. And I do get a salary for that, so that's paid. That's my involvement. I'm also the director at Husky Productions, so I get just a little bit of money, a little bit of income to help go towards rent for that one as well. And then all my classes are in the same kind of hallway where my work, where my friends are. So it's kind of just like, how long am I going to be at Stewart Hall today? But I don't consider it one or the other. It's all kind of like, I like being here. Sometimes I get paid. Sometimes it's for fun. Sometimes it's for a class. And there's nowhere in my brain where I chop it up because it's all the same to me. It's good.
That's cool. And I always like to say our top students in the Mass Comm program have slept in Stewart Hall at least one night in their college career. That's very true. All right, Sam, work-life balance.
Yeah, like Paige said, it's not as hard as you would imagine. As I mentioned earlier, I have lead roles in all 3 of the mass comm student departments in the newspaper, the TV, and the radio, and those are paid positions, like Paige said, so you do have opportunity to get paid when you work in the mass comm department. You go into those director roles, but I spend a lot of late nights, but they're really fun. Being around all the people, just getting work done, and it's not as bad as you would think it would, like trying to balance all 3 in this mass comm department.
All right, thank you, Sam. And most of our students who are leaders do get positions. We have 20 students at KVSC alone that are paid, as well as a grad student, and they're paid an hourly or a stipend every month for the work, and they have responsibilities and office hours and do great work. Sydney, work-life balance for you?
I sort of agree that it's not that hard if you sort of just plan in advance what you want to do just a little bit, because if you want to have leadership with all these places, it's really not super hard to get a paid position. So it can kind of be your work and your life and school sort of all in the same thing. So KVSC, I'm able to get paid. At UTVS, I'm able to get paid. And with the Chronicle, they pay you to write articles. So it's really not too bad as long as you sort of just plan your days out maybe a little bit if you have some classes and stuff. But it's really not too bad because you can end up sort of making a job out of what your activities are, which is really cool.
And I think that you all managed to have a lot of fun too. I noticed
Yeah.
that. You'll see some live music or get to, athletic events and do other things. Noah, work-life balance for you?
Yeah, I think Sydney kind of hinted at it, but I think when you're in this program, you really learn a lot about scheduling, and so many things overlap. So at UTVS, I'm the program director, so that's a paid stipend to, kind of manage all the content coming in and out of the station. In addition to, I also am a student engineer for the mass communications department. So basically, I do daily tasks around the facility, whether that's plugging things in or general maintenance, things like that, on specific components within the mass comm facilities. But I also find time, so many of my, friends I hang out with, they're mass comm majors just like ourselves. And, there's been so many late nights I've spent in my office downstairs in Stewart Hall. And a buddy next to mine, Chris Pearson, he was the producer for Husky Productions this last year. I don't know how many times we've been working late nights, and then we're like, hey, let's go over to, either his apartment or my dorm or whatever, and watch a movie or something like that. So I think a lot of things blend together, but you also learn how to kind of schedule out. All right, this is my time to do homework. This is my time to do, UTVS stuff, and this is my time to kind of hang out. But it's a very smooth schedule. So.
All right, thanks, Noah. And Joe, work-life balance, last question.
What can I say that hasn't already been said? It's just pretty much.
Yeah,
I'll say it was.
Yeah.
It's very easy to get into this. There's a lot. All these people here are really nice. That's all I can say.
Thanks, Joe. Then I'm going to toss it over in a moment. Just want to let you know that all the things that you hear about getting involved with KVSC, UTVS, the Chronicle, augment the classes. You are going to be taught about journalism, writing, ethics, the law, management. So the professors in the department are teaching you that, and also hands-on with equipment in many classes, and then you apply it within the student organizations and the campus organizations. So it's a balance of what you're doing in the class as well as what you're doing at KVSC, UTVS, and the Chronicle. So I believe I am going to send it back over to my friends in admissions who may have some final thoughts and things to say.
Hey, everybody. Really hope you enjoyed the time with the student panel. Definitely feel free to ask any questions in the chat here. We will continue to hang out for a little bit so that you are able to ask those questions and get those answered. In the webinar chat, it looks like they just put some information for some virtual tours. Just like Danielle said there, obviously, and what Dale said earlier too, it doesn't compare to actually being on campus, but it does give you a really good idea of what our facilities are like. When we are back on campus, we really urge you to come visit us again. We would love to have you on campus, walk you through the full campus, and especially walk you through all of the mass communications facilities.
And I think Joe Bigelow, because I'm a Joe and he's a Joe, but I don't have the E. He might be ready to show you the on-air studio and the multi-track studio where we have live on the air, as well as the multi-track studios where we produce Monday Night Live and advanced audio production. So he's going to walk over and you can take a peek on his device at the studio space.
So let's do a bit of the tour, shall we? We're going to start out actually with a training studio. I was currently in there right now. The training studio is where a lot of people will do their training. And right now you can kind of see there's a bit of a setup. We got mics, we got 2 screens, count them 2. And right now on this one, I'm doing a podcast as this was all going on, but we have 2 setups. This is for pretty much Adobe Audition. It's also used for classes. But this one also, we have our Enco system, and I have it open up right here for voice tracking. I'm not going to really start doing anything right there, but this is where you can pretty much, you can track a show and it'll be played later. And so we have other places like that do that as well. But the training studio just kind of got some nice speakers up here. And sorry about the light, but it does look a bit like a mess, but this is a nice little small space. You can do podcasts. Mostly you're doing your training in here to start out, and the training is just pretty much acting like you already are, like you're already on air. So this is the training studio. I'm going to show you the multi-track studio. The multi-track studio is our big boy studio for like especially Monday Night Live, and hopefully the automatic lights turn on in here because I hate it when it doesn't turn on. Oh, there we are. So do these nice glamour shots of our big old board. Really nice. Anyway, I got Pro Tools up here, and this is definitely used for our Monday Night Live setup because you'll have so many faders and so much stuff that you can put in there. It's great. And we'll normally use Pro Tools to do such as that. I just have something queued up from one of the other classes where advanced audio production, where you can use Pro Tools and this big board. Should kick in probably in a second. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, something like that. It's a lot of mastering, working with audio. It's a big, spacious room. It's got a couch. It's got all of these posters from, I believe, past Monday Night Lives, if I'm correct.
Yeah, that's correct, Joe. Joe, can you also show them the performance space where the band's set up?
No, not at the moment.
Oh, okay.
Sorry about that. Not at the moment.
Okay.
But just take my word on it. It's a nice black room. There's a lot of stuff in there right now. And it is basically catered in such a way to work for performances. So I believe, yeah, I don't think he's currently in there. I'll show you the on-air studio right now. So this is the on-air studio. We have a lot, I mean a lot of CDs. And
we have over 70,000 CDs at the station because we started getting them in 1989.
yeah, we have a lot. And this is the main studio for being on air. And we got our main setup over here. Nice little board. We have many different screens to show exactly what's going on. And this is what our setup normally looks like for ENCO, for the on-air studio. You can see what's playing right now, what's going to play in a bit. And I believe Iowa Jeff is getting ready for his diversion show, but we got, I think, a bunch of CDs from him. It's great. There's just so much music in here. I don't think you'll ever be bored and not find music. And speaking of music, the music library, because that should be open. Every single one of these is filled with music to the brim. A lot of music, just a lot. We have local music, we have classic rock, we got a lot of electronica, beats pieces, got some reggae, I'm surprised we actually do, blues, hip hop, rap, folk music, punk and hardcore. There's a lot there. That's why we are the sound alternative. Is there anything else that I might be missing for this tour?
I think, Joe, I think you did a great job. There's, 3 additional other studios at the space. And if you can just walk to the river so they get a sense of the dining space, but that'll wrap it. But in the back area here, there's offices. You'll see here that we have an area with all the students. It's kind of all in disarray right now because we're all working everywhere.
We have 2 people here that can say hi, so say hi.
Oh,
Yeah, these are people that work here at KV.
And that's Jim Gray on the right, and he is the one who will also advise you on some classes and help out. So that is.
And there's a dog in here, I guess, right now. But it don't look like much, but we got like a nice little spot, just a nice little patio area outside. So.
Well, thank you, Joe, for the tour. And I just want to say thanks to all of our panelists. And best of luck to Noah, our senior. Thanks, Joe. And everyone, as we will have the last couple weeks of school here, to all the people who are viewing, it's nice to have you along. And we look forward to seeing you in person at St. Cloud State University and at our radio station, TV station. So thank you so much. Unless anyone has any final words, we're going to say goodbye.